Hello and welcome to another popcorn chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, I'm going to be speaking to you about 10 films that make me cry my eyes out. So these films are going to be in no particular order. They're just ones that have made me cry over the years, and when I return to them, they're still going to make me cry. So let's get into my top 10. So first up on the list we have The Notebook. It seems like a classic and it is there for a reason. It's very much a beautiful kind of rom-com film, very much of the time. However, it does really pull on those heartstrings. Whether it's the young version of the couple or the older version, it's really sort of emotional, and I can return to it again and again and still feel those said emotions. Next up, we have The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So this film really resonated with me. I saw it when it came out, I'd read the book, and there's a lot to it that's not being said, and I think that's what really sort of gets me emotional. I think the performance is excellent. It's very much a great sort of coming of age film in general, but yeah, it really sort of speaks to me in many ways, and I think it's such a really sort of heartfelt film that I think anyone should watch. Next up, we have A Monster Calls. Now, I don't think many people have actually seen this film. When I saw this film in the cinema, it just sort of released the floodgates. It was so emotional to me and sort of connected to, some personal experiences. So yeah, I thought this is such a great sort of moving film that I think many people haven't seen. So I'd recommend, if you're looking for a good cry, then check out A Monster Calls. The next on my list, again, is a little predictable, but we have Inside Out. To me, this is one of the better sort of Pixar films in the last few years. I think it really connects with both children and adults. It probably actually resonates a lot more with the adults in terms of the emotional side and the communication of that, and maybe not appreciating, those childhood experiences and growing up too fast. But obviously, a child can take away a different experience from that film. So I think it's so great, and I have to mentally prepare myself before watching that film again. Next up, we have Logan. It wrapped up Wolverine's story really nicely. I think it's a great sort of final send-off for the character, and being that and knowing that going into it, oh gosh, I was so emotional. It was really sad. I don't really cry at superhero films, but this one really got me. And I think everyone who's seen it definitely felt the same, so I'm not alone in this one, so that's why it's in the top 10. Next we have Rocket Man. Now, I was quite late to seeing this. I missed its cinematic release, but I was able to watch it on demand. And boy, what a good film it was. Generally, I really think it was a great biopic film. I think there's great songs in there, dance, and it sort of depicts Elton John's life in more of the reality of which it was, which isn't always the case for films about celebrities. One of the interesting aspects is the fact that Elton John is still alive. Most of these films are only made once said person is dead, but nope, he's still alive. So it's interesting having that sort of direct input and the experiences that he went through, and his battle with drugs and alcohol was really interesting, and I think Taron Egerton did a great job at displaying that sort of very much personal performance that he gives in this film. And yeah, I think the whole film as an eclectic piece just makes me so emotional. The next one on the list is a little bit predictable. It's something that I watched when I was a teenager, and that is The Fault in Our Stars. Like every other teen at the time, I had read the book and I was excited to see what they would do with this film. Any sort of film that's about end of life, be it cancer, whatever it is going to make me cry. For a film that's aimed at young adults, I think it has a lot of character work and of course plays on the emotional elements of the story itself. But saying that, I still think it's a great film, and it does the purpose if you're looking for a cry and just want to get out those emotions. This is one to watch. The next film in my list is Fly Away Home. Now, this is one I used to watch quite a lot as a child. I had it on VHS tape, and I would watch this again and again. And it's absolutely heartbreaking and emotional, being a sort of father-daughter relationship, but also adding in the element of animals and, trying to get the sort of flying V that you have in flocks of geese. And so it's really sort of a great narrative, but also, it adds by the cute animals as well. So it's got me crying constantly. I've not watched it in a long time, so I'm curious to see how I would feel now, but I definitely remember it being a really emotional one when watching it initially. Speaking of animals in films, the next one I have on my list is A Dog's Purpose. This film, albeit its controversy around the behind the scenes, I did go and see this film in the cinema, and it is very much an emotional film because the concept is that this dog dies and is reborn into another dog's body and joins another family or another person. So, that's the concept of it, and that in itself, having to go through multiple deaths of a dog, move over Marley and me. This film is much more emotional. I think it has a lot more to sort of show about sort of humanity and different types of people, especially those who look for companions, especially in animals. This is that, like, if you're a dog lover, if you're just, a person that cares about sort of relationships and animals, you're going to like this film, but also you're going to cry a lot at this film. So the final film I have in this list is Toy Story 3. Being a child that grew up on the Toy Story films, I was born the year that the first film came out. I've watched them both on VHS countless times. I was excited to go and see film 3 in the cinema with some friends, and I think I saw it in 3D. Oh my goodness, that really made me cry when they're sort of looking at the incinerator. I thought that was it. I thought that was the actual end of it. They're going to be burnt alive. I was like, they're going to do that in a kid's film? Nah, they can't. Then you have that changeover of the toys to Bonnie from Andy, and that is another emotional sort of wave that you get with this film. It's one that I've returned to before, and again, it gets me crying again. Why, Disney? Why? The third film just adds to the previous two, which are both excellent films, and makes for a really good, strong trilogy. And yeah, it's a fan favourite amongst many people, so I think a lot of people will be the same on that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think that's the right word to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this sort of listing of films that always make me cry, make me feel really emotional, that I can return to again. They're going to bring out the tears in me, and that's okay. Sometimes you need a film to make you cry, and these 10 films will always do that for me. Let me know down below what films make you cry. Are there ones that you like returning to? Are there some that you can't watch again because they made you so upset? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to check those out, and I'll see you soon for another popcorn chat.